Alright, so today we are going to see magnetic field. So what is meant by magnetic field is, okay, so in the introduction of this chapter I have explained very clearly that, okay, if you have a charge, okay, if this charge is at rest, okay, if charge is at rest, it will produce electric field which is represented by E bar like this, okay, and if this charge Q is moving with some velocity V, okay, then this will produce electric field E bar as well as magnetic field, okay, B bar like this. So here my point is, if charge is at rest, okay, it will produce electric field E bar. If charge is moving, it will produce electric field E bar as well as magnetic field B bar. Now if you consider, okay, force, okay, if you consider force between two bodies, now for force to exist between two bodies, okay, if you take a body B1, if you take another body B2 like this, okay, now what happens is, okay, if this produces electric field and this also produces electric field, then there will be electric force between these two, okay. If this produces electric field and if this doesn't produce electric field, then there is no electric force, okay. Force is mutual. If this exerts a force on other body also will exert force on this body, okay. So it's not like this body will exert force on this but this is not going to exert, something like that will not happen, okay. So what is my point is, okay, both bodies should produce similar kind of field, okay, so that what you will have is force between these two, okay. Similarly, if you consider the magnetic field scenario, if first body produces magnetic field and this produces magnetic field, then only there will be magnetic force between these two bodies. If this is not producing magnetic field and if this produces magnetic field, then obviously there is magnetic force between these two bodies, okay. So for force to exist, okay, you need to have both bodies producing a similar kind of field, okay. So that is my first and foremost important point, okay. Now we will use this idea, okay. So to understand magnetic force, okay, to understand magnetic force, okay, we need to study magnetic field. So your electrostatics is about studying electric field, okay. So normally if you consider electromagnetic force is the one that actually exists. So your F electromagnetic force is given by, okay, your electric force plus, okay, magnetic force, okay. In electromagnetic force, okay, there are totally two forces, one is electric force and other is magnetic force. Your electric force is given by Q times electric field E bar plus magnetic force is actually given by Q times V bar cross B bar, okay. So your electromagnetic force together it is actually called as Lorentz force, okay. So your Lorentz force is combination of both the forces, electric force as well as magnetic force. Your electric force is given by Q times E bar, your magnetic force is given by Q times V bar cross B bar like this, okay. Now in physics what is that we do is often we study these forces and fields, okay. So to study force we require field. Okay, so this part is done in detail in electrostatics. Okay, now your magnetic field chapter is introduction for electromagnetic force. Okay, so here we are going to study magnetic force and its effects. Okay, so to study magnetic force we need to understand magnetic field first. Once you have clarity of magnetic field, then you will automatically you will be able to study magnetic force. Okay, so now using these ideas, what is that we are going to do is we are going to study your electromagnetic force in detail. Now as I have told you, your magnetic force to exist between two bodies, you require both bodies to be producing a similar kind of field. So here this body produces magnetic field, this body produces magnetic field, then only there will be magnetic force. If one body does not produce out of these two, then there is no magnetic force between the bodies. Now this idea we actually require in this chapter. So to study magnetic force, first we will study magnetic field. So our target is studying magnetic field, and your magnetic field is caused by what? Means it is caused by moving charge. Moving charge will produce magnetic field. So now with this introduction, if you want to copy, you can copy. With this introduction we will continue. Now first we will study magnetic field. Now for electric field, what is the unit? Means Newton per Coulomb. Now for magnetic field, your magnetic field is represented by symbol. It is represented by B bar. It is a vector. Magnetic field is a vector quantity. Now for this vector, magnitude will be there, direction will be there. So what is it? We will see now. But before that, first thing that I want to discuss is your unit. So what is the unit of magnetic field? Means your unit of magnetic field is it is Tesla. Tesla is the unit of magnetic field. Later you will study it as in electromagnetic induction chapter. You will also study it as Weber per meter square is the unit. So Weber per meter square is the unit of magnetic field. Next, coming to this part is your SI unit. Now coming to CGS unit. Your CGS unit of magnetic field is 1 Tesla is equal to 10 power 4 Gauss. Your Gauss is the CGS unit of magnetic field. So whenever you see the word Tesla, that means the term is related to magnetic field. Indirectly it is having moving charge. So your CGS unit of magnetic field is Tesla. Now using this, we'll study magnetic field in detail. Now first question that I want to explain is what causes magnetic field? What causes magnetic field? So now indirectly, what will cause magnetic field? Means I have explained very clearly. What is your answer is moving charges will produce moving charges will produce magnetic field. Moving charges will produce magnetic field. Now here this moving charge can be of two types. First type of moving charge that you have is a point charge. Your point charge can be a moving charge. And second type of charge that you have is a current carrying wire. So your current carrying wire is another example of moving charge. Now this will produce magnetic field. This point charge which is moving with some velocity v, it will produce magnetic field. And current carrying wire also, if you have a current carrying wire, this will also produce magnetic field. Now always remember, okay, I forgot, your magnetic field, okay, fields and potentials are always defined at a point. So I must keep the subscript P, okay. BP bar means it is magnetic field at point P, okay. So at a particular point, okay, if you are talking of magnetic field, obviously it depends upon position. So in this case, okay, if you have a charge q moving with some velocity v like this, okay, somewhere at some point P like this, you are trying to calculate magnetic field at some distance r. At this point your magnetic field is given by, okay, B bar at P, okay, B at P, that point is very important, okay, at which point, field is defined at a point. So your magnetic field P is given by mu naught by 4 pi times, okay, it is mu naught by 4 pi times, okay, Q V bar cross product, okay, in vectors you must have studied, okay, Q V bar cross R bar by R cube, okay. If you are writing in terms of unit vector, this will become R cap by R square. Here I wrote R bar, okay. If you are writing R cap, here it will become R square, because unit vector R cap is R bar by mod R, okay. So this is your magnetic field, okay, this is your magnetic field because of a point charge, okay, moving in space, okay. Next, now coming to your current carrying wire, okay, if I take a small elemental strip, okay, if I take a small elemental strip like this, for this elemental strip your magnetic field is given by, okay, your magnetic field is given by dB bar is equal to mu naught ideal bar cross R cap by 4 pi times R square, which can be written as small magnetic field. Because of this small element, it is mu naught into ideal bar cross R bar by 4 pi into R cube, okay. So this formula is, okay, this formula that you have is, okay, because of this small part of wire or small segment of wire. So if you have a big part, you have to integrate this small magnetic field to get the magnetic field because of complete configuration, okay. Now okay, from this you must have understood, okay. So moving charges means you will either have a point charge like this, or in a current carrying wire charges will keep moving. They are nothing but electrons. So those electrons, when they are moving, obviously they are charges. So moving charges, they will produce magnetic field. So that magnetic field is given by dB bar is equal to this relation, mu naught by 4 pi ideal bar cross R cap by 4 pi into R square, okay. Now once these relations are known to us, okay, using these relations, okay, we are going to calculate magnetic field, okay, for different configurations. Now, okay, many people, they get confused in giving the direction, because whenever I wrote magnetic field, okay, obviously it is a vector. So for this vector, obviously what you need is direction. Now here if you look, it is cross product, that means direction is there, because cross product of two vectors will give you another vector, and here also you have cross product, okay. So first I will talk about cross product so that you will not have any confusion. After you have understood cross product thoroughly, then what is that we are going to do is, we are going to give the magnitude from this formula. Direction we obviously use right hand thumb rule, okay. So right hand thumb rule will give us the direction. Now what is that we are going to do is, first I will just simply give quick recap of cross product, okay. So for two vectors, how will you calculate cross product will be first given, okay, because there is no point in learning Fleming's left hand rule, that rule, this rule, big fancy terms, okay. If you know cross product simply, and if you are able to give direction of cross product properly, then simple definitions will come in handy. You don't need big fancy terms and all, okay. Your calculations, directions and all, you will not get confused if you are clear in these basics. So what is that I am going to do is, okay, I'll explain cross product. Okay, I'll not discuss waste much of your time. A short 2 minutes. So if you have a plane like this, okay, this is your plane. Okay, so this part. Now within this plane, if you have a vector a bar like this, if you have one more vector b bar like this, now if you curl your fingers, okay, if you are going to curl your fingers from a bar to b bar, okay, if you are going to curl your fingers from a bar to b bar, just hold on. Just hold on. Looks like the camera's orientation is lost. Let me see. Okay, so now I'll continue further. So here what is that you have is cross product. So how you will calculate cross product is, if you have two vectors a bar and b bar within the plane of diagram that is shown, okay, so within this plane what is going to happen is, okay, if you are considering two vectors like this, now if you place four fingers, okay, if you are calculating a bar cross product with b bar like this, okay, you have to use four fingers a bar like this and curl towards b, okay, that means you cannot turn your fingers backwards, okay, always while taking cross product you have to consider angle less than 180 degrees. So from A to B, if you are curling like this, then this thumb will give the direction of your cross product. So in this case, your cross product direction is given by A bar cross B bar like this. If this angle is theta between these two vectors, okay, they are within the plane, okay. For differentiation, to differentiate between these two, I have put it separately, but this is your A bar cross B bar, which is mod A mod B sin theta into n cap like this, okay. So now I will give you some basic examples, okay. Always consider, okay, angle between them. Here two angles are possible, theta and 360 minus theta, but you have to consider angle which is less than 180 degrees. So this angle is small, so you have to consider this one, okay. So now in plane of paper, okay, I'll give basic directions, okay. The basic directions that you have are, okay, let us say you have, okay, these directions. This direction is up, okay, according to my board. This direction is down. This direction is right. This direction is left. This is into the plane. It is going inside like this, okay, into the plane, okay, and this part is out of the plane like this. So all the directions that I am going to give in this chapter, they will belong to this set, okay. So now I will give you simple questions and I want you to answer those questions and give me what is the direction in each case, okay. So I'll start, okay. So first your answer should be only in these terms, whether it is into or out or up or down, right, left and all. Okay, so this is according to my plane, okay, board plane. For you guys, while you are reading, okay, you look at your plane of the book that you have. Okay, and another important thing is, okay, so because you have pen in your right hand, do not use your left hand. Okay, so you have to use your right hand. Okay, what you are going to do is your right hand thumb rule. Okay, so for your plane of paper, okay, this is out of the plane, this is into the plane. Okay, so with your point of view, I am telling you, this is into, this is out. Okay, this is up, this is down. Okay, this is down, this is up, this is right, this is left, this is out of the plane, this is into the plane. Okay, while you tilt it like this, for my, okay, for board and your book, okay, both will be same, but in the book you will look it from the top, board you look it from the front. Answers will not change. Okay, so try to give the answers in the following cases. So your first case is, you have A bar like this, B bar like this. You are supposed to give direction of A bar cross B bar. Next, second case is A bar is like this, B bar is like this. Okay. Next, third case is, okay, let us say you have A bar into the plane, B bar out, I mean to the left. Next, A bar out of the plane, B bar up like this. Okay, now try to give the directions. I will give you a minute, give the directions. Okay, so now here in this case, if you are doing cross product, okay, just simply take two pens like this for clarity's sake. So if this is A bar and if this is B bar, okay, now if you are curling your fingers from A to B like this, so I should place my four fingers along A bar. These are called four fingers. Okay, you should rotate, okay, in the clockwise direction. You cannot bend it like this. Okay, you have to curl it in the anti-clockwise direction. So in this case, if you are curling from A to B like this, okay, A to B like this, because this angle is 90 degrees, this is the smaller angle. So if you are curling from A to B like this, okay, my thumb is pointing out of the plane. Okay, so in this case, your direction of A bar cross B bar is, okay, out of the plane. Okay, next, within the same case, instead of A bar cross B bar, if I do, okay, B cross A, okay, if I am curling from B to A, okay, so I should place my four fingers along B bar if I am doing B to A. So B bar is upwards, I should curl towards A. I should not curl from B to A like this, because if you are doing so, you are curling 270 degrees totally in coming to A. So here in this case, okay, you are supposed to curl in the smaller angle which is less than 180 degrees. So from B to A, if I am curling like this, this is B. If I curl towards A, B to A like this, my thumb is into the plane. So in this case, okay, if I write B cross A, this B cross A is into the plane. Okay. Next, in the second example, okay, if you are doing A cross B, okay, you have to curl, you have to place your four fingers along A. Okay, you should not do the rotation like this, okay, because this angle is 270 degrees. You have to take the smaller angle which is less than 180. So smaller angle is 90 degrees. So from A to B like this, if I am curling, my thumb will go into the plane. So in this case, your A bar cross B bar in this case is, okay, into the plane. Okay, Next, here in this case, okay, your A is inside, okay, this blue pen, if I assume it to be A, okay, and B will be this way, okay. So A to B, I am curling from A to B like this, okay, 4 fingers along A, okay, from A along A bar, my 4 fingers are there, B bar is this way. So A to B, my thumb is pointing upwards, okay, so A to B like this. So here your direction is, obviously it is up like this, okay. Next, here in this case, A bar is out of the plane, B bar is upwards. So this is A out of the plane, okay, and B bar is upwards. Now if I use my right hand, okay, I have to keep it like this, 4 fingers along A, okay, A is this way, B is up, so A to B like this. So obviously the direction here is left, okay. I am damn sure that many of you will give wrong directions even in these basic examples, okay, but still I am telling you, you have your right hand, what is that you are supposed to do is, you can rotate your fingers, okay, only in this direction, you cannot rotate them backwards like this, and always take the angle which is less than, okay, 90 degrees. Depending upon that, you can keep it like this, like this, like this, any way, but always stick to the logic, okay. So these basic directions, if you are giving them properly, okay, then whatever cross product you are doing in magnetic field and because of point charge, as well as that Biot-Savart law, where in which your magnetic field because of current carrying wire you are calculating, in all those situations you are going to give the correct answers if you know the cross product properly, okay. If you give any wrong answer, then obviously you will get the answers wrongly, okay. A single direction can damage the whole thing, okay. So what is that we are going to do is, okay, we will continue now. Once we have given the direction of, I mean from the cross product, we will obviously able to give the magnitude, because for magnitude we have relations. Now, okay, let us start with simple basic ideas, okay. So now let us consider, okay, your magnetic field because of straight wire. Now, okay, if you have, okay, a straight wire, okay, what happens to this straight wire is, if this current is I, okay, now there is a current carrying wire like this, okay, let us say this current is I. Now you all know Oersted's experiment, okay. What is it is, if you have a current carrying wire like this, you must have studied in lower classes, okay. So if you keep iron filings dispersed in some random manner, in the end what is going to happen is, these iron filings will form, okay, a circular layer like this. So indirectly, okay, from this experiment what is that we can do, or what we can conclude is, if you have a current carrying wire I like this, then what happens is, your magnetic field lines, okay, your magnetic field lines will be in this manner, okay, okay, it is kind of circular coils around this current carrying wire, where your current is in the middle. So here my point is, okay, if you have your current carrying wire, okay, like this, which is going upwards, okay, if I hold it in my right hand, okay, if I hold this my current carrying wire in right hand like this, okay, I hope it is visible to you. So then what happens is, like how you have this wire, your magnetic field lines will be concentric circles as shown in the figure. So now here if it is going like this, now here if it is like this, okay, your field lines, what happens is, like you have to hold the conductor, this is your conductor, okay, if this conductor current is going upwards, I will hold it like this, okay, so if it is going inwards, I will hold it like this. So here your magnetic field lines, okay, field lines tangent to the field line will give you the direction. This you must have studied in gravitational field lines as well as electric field lines. So here if you have the conductor like this, if you hold it like this into your right hand, now if you curl your fingers, okay, if you curl your fingers, okay, this thumb is pointing the direction of current, thumb for current. So if thumb is pointing the direction of current, if you curl your fingers, okay, if you curl your fingers like this, then what happens is, okay, these field lines will be, magnetic field lines will be like this around your current carrying conductor, okay. So how I am deciding these concentric circles means, if I hold my current carrying conductor like this, then my fingers are curling like this. So my magnetic field lines will be around this conductor in concentric circles like this. So at this point, okay, at this point, whichever point you want field, okay, at this point, okay, if I am holding it like this, okay, now when current is going inside, field lines will be like this. If current is coming out like this, my field lines, because my fingers are curling like this, so your field lines will be like this, concentric circles. So here basically my point is, if you have a current carrying wire like this and if you are holding it in your right hand like this, then what happens is your magnetic field lines will be like this, okay. Now at this point, okay, let us say at a particular point here, if you want magnetic field, at this point it will be into, at this point it is into, at this point it is into, because here if you are holding the conductor like this, your magnetic field lines are going to come out like this. So they will enter here, they will form a circle and then they will come out of this, okay. Here they will be coming out, okay, here they will be entering in. So each line will enter, form a circle and then it will come back at this point, and once again it enters here, it comes out, it enters, it comes out like this. So your magnetic field lines around this current carrying conductor will be in the form of concentric circles like this. Now if the conductor is carrying current in downward direction, so let us say it is carrying current in downward direction. So in this case what happens, your magnetic field lines will be, okay, if you are holding this conductor like this, you will have field lines going inside here, okay, they will enter inside and they will start coming out like this. So here they are entering in, they are coming out, entering in, coming out, entering in, coming out like this, okay. So these are your magnetic field lines idea, okay. So at which point you want magnetic field, simply draw a tangent, okay. So at this point you want magnetic field, draw a tangent. At this point it is tangential, here it is tangential, here it is tangential. So tangent to the field line will give you the direction, okay. So first, okay, simple, your right hand thumb rule, this is called as Ampere's right hand thumb rule. This Ampere's right hand thumb rule is enough to do the problems in terms of direction. So if you hold the conductor like this, if you are curling, if current is going upwards, your thumb should point the direction of current. So if field lines are like this, so I mean if I curl, my fingers will be curling like this. So your magnetic field lines, at which point you want, draw a tangent at that particular point to the field line. So that will give you the direction of field, okay. Now here what is that I am going to do is, okay, I will just simply, okay, for clarity's sake, I will take another current carrying wire, okay, here it is going upwards. Let us say it is carrying current into the plane, current is entering like this. So if current enters into the plane like this, my fingers will curl like this. So if my fingers are curling like this, obviously my field lines will be concentric circles around this conductor like this. If I is into the plane, okay, so my field lines will be circles, okay, like this. So at whichever point you want field, at this point you want field, draw a tangent. At this point you want field, tangent. At this point you want field, draw a tangent. At this point, okay. So whichever point you want, okay, just simply draw tangent at that particular point. Now if your current carrying wire is carrying current out of the plane, if it is out of the plane, thumb should be coming out. If thumb is coming out, your field lines will be like this, okay. So obviously you have to draw concentric circles like this. So at whichever point you want field, okay, your field direction is here like this, it is like this here, it is like this here, okay. So this is because of straight wires, okay. Next, if you have loops, okay, I mean copy down, okay, so if you have loops, what happens is, okay, so let us look at the loops part, okay. So now coming to loops, okay, your I is very important, okay. So how it is important, I will tell you. Now for example, let us say you have a, okay, let us say you have a current carrying loop, that too square loop like this, another loop here, okay. Now in one loop, let us say I am sending out clockwise current, in another loop I am sending out anti-clockwise current, okay. So current is going like this in the second loop, current is going clockwise in this loop, okay. Now for loops it's not going to be a big deal, okay. So at center point, if you are trying to calculate direction here, okay, now this part, okay, this segment of wire if you take, okay, if you hold this side or current carrying wire, the field lines will be curling like this, so they will enter here, they will come out here, okay. So my fingers are curling like this, okay. So at this point, if you want magnetic field, okay, because of first wire it is into the plane, okay, because of first wire here it is out of the plane, field line will be going out, okay, here, and they will enter here. Similarly, because of this wire also, if you take, it is into here, at this point it is out, okay, outside it is out, inside it is in. Here if you take, okay, like this, you will hold it, so at this point it is going inside, here it will be coming out, here also it is outwards. At this point, if you hold it like this, at this point it is into the plane, and here in the bottom part, at this bottom part it is outside, okay. So if you have clockwise current from this conclusion, clockwise I, okay, then B is into the plane, B bar is into, okay. In a loop, if you have clockwise current, magnetic field is into the plane. Similarly here, if you take for the second loop, okay, so here outside it will enter, your field line will enter like this, and then it will come out, okay. So if you are holding your conductor like this, okay, here it will enter, okay, on the top it will enter, in the middle here in the bottom region it will come outwards. So in this case, here it is entering, here it is out. Because of this wire, if you hold it like this, that side points it is entering, this side points it is coming out, so once again it is out. So like this, if you have anti-clockwise, okay, anti-clockwise I, okay, your B bar is out of the plane, okay. So clockwise current into the plane, anti-clockwise current out of the plane, okay. Now many people they do some common mistakes. What are those? I will tell you. So they keep often getting, getting confused in the direction of current. How that is, I will tell you. Now for example, let us consider a loop like this. Now two people are observing, okay, one person is you are observing, okay, and second person is me. Now let us say current is going, okay, let us say current is going this side like this. Now for me it is clockwise, for you it is anti-clockwise, okay, getting my point, right? So my point is, here if you observe carefully, okay, for person from the front, your current is going like this, this is anti-clockwise direction if current is going like this. Now if I look from behind, okay, back side of this wire, for me this direction is clockwise, okay. So my point is, if you have a loop like this, okay, and if there are two observers, okay, one from this side and other from this side, okay, my point is, okay, if this person says, okay, clockwise current, okay, that means he is observing this wire like this, okay, and for him, okay, let us say the current is going in clockwise direction. So with respect to this person, this clockwise means it is coming out and going inside like this. You are observing from this side, okay, current is coming out and entering clockwise, okay, clockwise, okay. So how clocks go, okay, in this manner. So here it is out, here it is entering. So for this person, okay, if you ask him the field, okay, so if he uses his right hand thumb rule, okay, so what he says is, okay, I mean magnetic field inside is into the plane, because clockwise into the plane. For him this is the direction. Now here, okay, for this person if you take, for him it is anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise means, okay, with respect to this person, okay, this is with respect to left eye. With respect to right eye it is anti-clockwise, so it is out of the plane. With respect to right eye it is out of plane. With respect to left eye it is into the plane. But ultimately if you observe carefully, direction is like this only, okay. So whoever is the observer, answer will not go wrong, okay, provided you stick to the basics, okay, right. So now this indirectly, this current carrying wire is equivalent to a bar magnet whose north pole is like this and south pole is like this, okay, where your field lines will be coming out of north pole like this. Your north pole is similar to positive charge and south pole is equal to negative charge. So south pole field lines will be entering, north pole field lines will be coming out. Of course they are closed lines, don't worry, okay. So they will be like this, okay. So this current carrying wire is equivalent to a magnet, okay. Now with this basics you must have understood, okay, your direction of magnetic field in different scenarios, okay. So if you have, okay, conclusion of so far what I have discussed, okay, you have a wire, use right hand thumb rule, curl your fingers, draw tangent, okay. If you have clockwise, into the plane, loops, for loops, clockwise direction into the plane, anti-clockwise direction it is out of the plane, okay, that is your field direction. And in unknown places, what is that you are supposed to do? You have to use right hand thumb rule, okay. So right hand thumb rule, okay. So far coming to direction, okay, on what I have explained, okay, so far I have discussed only the direction, I did not calculate the magnitude. So here what do I mean, okay, I will tell you. So if you have conclusion of what I have explained, straight wires, okay, go for right hand thumb rule, okay. Next, loops, clockwise into the plane, clockwise I, B into the plane, okay. Anti-clockwise I, okay, it is out of the plane, B is out of the plane. That much is enough for calculation of magnetic field, okay. Now let us start with, okay, Biot-Savart law, okay. Now we have discussed the direction. Once you know the direction, obviously you are supposed to calculate magnitude. So now how is that you calculate the magnitude of magnetic field, okay. So now for magnitude of magnetic field, okay, so what did Biot-Savart do is, okay, so he did an experiment. He passed out current in some current carrying wire like this, then he brought electron which is at, I mean he kept an electron or charge at rest. So then what did he observe is, okay, on this there is no force, okay, when electron is at rest. In the second experiment that he did, okay, if he is passing out some current I like this, then he observed that if electron is moving, then there is some deviation of path followed by electron. So if there is deviation of path, obviously there is some force on this electron. That force possible here is, this will produce magnetic field, this will produce magnetic field, so obviously there is magnetic force. Like this Biot-Savart did an experiment, okay, and then, okay, there are actually two people, okay, so I don't know the full names, but together they have done the experiment, okay, and they gave the law, what law they gave is, okay, if you have a straight current carrying wire, okay, it need not be straight, it can even be curved, but if you have a current carrying conductor like this, if there is some point P here, okay, what he told is this current carrying wire will produce magnetic field, okay, it will produce magnetic field. how much is that magnetic field means if you take this dl element, okay, this is your ideal element, okay, small portion of wire, okay, this is small portion of wire, okay. Later we will use Ampere's law for calculation of magnetic field, okay. So that part we will see later, but first for calculation of magnetic field because of a straight wire, we are going to see Biot-Savart law, okay. So in this Biot-Savart law, we will calculate magnitude and direction for the straight wires like this. Now here, okay, if this direction is r bar, okay, from this ideal element to this point P, if there is a vector r bar like this, then its unit vector is given by, okay, its unit vector is given by r cap, okay. So what is r cap? A unit vector in the direction of r bar. What is r bar? R bar is a vector from this small element, okay, current element, that is portion of wire. From this portion of wire to this point P, okay, it is a position vector, okay. So here your small magnetic field dB because of this small portion of wire, it is not because of entire portion. For entire portion you require, you have to integrate it, okay. So here I am considering only the small portion. So for this small portion, okay, if you do ideal cross B, okay, from A bar cross B bar, indirectly this is your A bar, okay, and this is your B bar, okay, indirectly you are doing A bar cross B bar for direction. So here your direction that you have here is, okay, into the plane at point P, okay, at point P your direction is into the plane because ideal cross B, from here you are doing dl bar cross r bar, okay. So here people will write usually in the books in two ways. It is mu naught by 4 pi times, okay, this is proportionality constant, this is magnetic permeability of free space, okay. If you have a different medium, okay, if you have different medium, then you have to use mu of medium in that expression, which is mu naught times mu relative, okay. Mu relative is relative magnetic permeability, okay. What is the value of mu naught? I will write it separately, but your small magnetic field, because of only this small portion, okay, because of this small portion, how much it is? Mu naught by 4 pi times I dl bar cross r cap by r square, okay. This much Tesla, and direction anyhow it is into the plane, you can give it from, okay, cross product, okay. If you are having r cap here, okay, you have to write r square, okay. And if this angle, okay, you can also rearrange it and write it as, if you replace r cap with r bar by mod r, okay, this r cap is nothing but r bar by mod r, which is r. So in such a case it will become mu naught by 4 pi times I dl bar cross r bar by r cube, okay. This mod r is nothing but r, so r into r square, that will give you r cube. If I write it just simply r without keeping mod, also still it is magnitude. So this is your small magnetic field because of this small portion of wire, okay. Now here, okay, here this is a vector. I need not give the direction as into the plane because I wrote this in vectorial form. If I write it in terms of magnitude, okay, what is that I can do is, okay, if I write in terms of magnitude, then what is this going to become is, your small magnetic field dB bar is mu naught IDL, okay, mod A mod B sin theta, okay, right, into, I mean mod r cap. Actually I have to write mod of IDL mod of r cap sin theta, direction is into the plane in terms of magnitude, by 4 pi r square. Now r cap magnitude is 1 because this is unit vector. So your small magnetic field dB bar will be mu naught ideal sin theta by r square. Direction is into the plane. Okay. So here previously I did not keep direction into the plane because this expression is written in terms of vector form. Here I have written magnitude, so this side direction is to be given. So into the plane is the direction. Okay. From where I am giving? From right hand thumb rule, provided this angle between these two is theta. Okay. If angle is theta, then this will become ideal sin theta. Okay. Angle between dl bar and r cap. Okay. Now there are certain limitations to this Biot-Savart law. Okay. We will see about it later while discussing Ampere's law. Okay. So Ampere actually did not get convinced and raised some issues on Biot-Savart law. What are those issues? I will discuss in Ampere's law. But right now I don't want to deviate. So this is your expression. Now you want total magnetic field because of entire wire. You integrate this small magnetic field. Integrating small magnetic field will give you total magnetic field. Okay. So this is your Biot-Savart law. Okay. So copy it. If you have any doubts, just ask me. Okay. Now I will continue. I will erase this part. Now here I forgot, your mu naught value is, mu naught by 4 pi value is 10 power minus 7 in SI units. Mu naught value is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7. Okay. Newton ampere per meter is the unit. We will see about the units part later. Right now I don't want to deviate. Your SI unit of magnetic field is Tesla. Right now focus on B. Okay.